Hey guys, today we have a very special first look at OS and VDXreviews.com. This is another retro review product. This is the Panasonic electric typewriter T34 series. Now, typewriters have been kind of out of fashion for a very long time with the introduction of printers, which work so much better. But typewriters are still fairly, in my opinion, they're still pretty cool technology. They still remind me of typing and writing. Of course, there's some issues with old-fashioned typewriters, but Panasonic's electric typewriters, what they bring is a little bit more options, kind of similar to modern-day printers, where you can actually correct your typing. For example, if you make a mistake in typing, which is very common, there's actually a built-in correction tape which allows you to erase and to cover it up and start typing again. Electric typewriters also have a monochrome display which tells you what mode it's doing. The electronic typewriter T34 series also offers a AccuSpell Plus system, which is located on the right-hand side of the typewriter. You can turn this system on and off. It's an electric component which has a built-in dictionary inside, and it tells you if you're spelling your words correctly or not. Whenever you spell your words incorrectly, it automatically pops up and it recognizes you've done something wrong, and it spells the word correctly on screen. So it's kind of like a word checker to see if you spelled things correctly automatically. So the system, when you're typing and you're typing up a word, it knows that you're typing a word, and it searches up its dictionary and sees if you're typing the word up correctly. If not, it prompts you to a correct spelling, and you can erase things, like I said, by the correction tape. Typewriters, this model in particular, has a pretty nice design. It's an electric typewriter. What else can we say? It's still pretty cool to play around with. I believe that this generation of kids and teens, many people haven't even seen typewriters these days, but believe me, they are pretty loud when you start typing, and they remind me a lot of mechanical clicks and stuff. The problem with these, if the ink pads run out of ink, some words in particular are not going to show up as well. And I've read some novels in the past where there was these crimes. These people had these ransom letters where they wrote out by electric typewriters and had some ink letters missing. And basically detectives would just go around matching the typewriters because a typewriter could not spell this one letter fully using the ink, and they could match and see what typewriter it was written on. So it's interesting stuff in the past. You can do a lot of stuff with these. It's a crime and research. Anyways, it's a pretty large design. It's really heavy, but it's made out of this sturdy plastic. It's by Panasonic. What we have are all the margin settings. We've got all the margin additional mechanical settings up here. The keyboard itself is not cramped at all. It's pretty easy to type. It's made out of plastic, really risen above the surface. The slightest touch will allow you to print something onto the actual paper. A thing to note, to turn on the caps lock, you just press the lock key, and then the red switch should turn on, and then you can tweak around it and then turn that off or on. I like to usually turn it on. It automatically prompts you to turn it off sometimes. Their spacebar is really nice. It's really dedicated. It doesn't actually, the keys when you press them, it doesn't feel like mechanical or it's actually clicking really clicky, but still you can definitely hear an audible sound because the device is actually printing the letter onto the paper. It's like puck, puck. It's kind of like a stamp set. So you can hear an audible sound when it's being printed on the paper, but it's not actually the keyboard that's super clicky, but that's a little differentiation. You also have, of course, the spell check buttons, and on the side some additional hotkeys. This is just to tell you what type of paper you're using. I just put in a normal sheet of notebook paper, a pretty frail sheet. There's also a handlebar to lift the device up in the back. Now, this type of typewriter is still going to run you around, I'd say, $60 on eBay, depending on where you look, and that's for a used model. I'm not sure you can get these new anymore, but maybe somebody somewhere has one new. You can check them out. I don't know. So not the cheapest thing, but still, it is what it is. To put in the paper, there's two knobs on the side where you slide. You lock once you push these knobs inside, they lock the paper into place. So when you're typing and you're skipping lines, the paper is actually held in place. It's not going to tug away. When you want to put in a new sheet of paper, you basically turn these knobs sideways, and you can actually adjust where you want the paper to be typed on. There's a little bit, of course, of issues in terms of alignment. Sometimes it's a little bit harder than normal printers, of course, because you're not as accurate. Let me see if I can align this. And I'll just do a practice type, and it's just pretty cool to play around with. I haven't typed and played around with a typewriter for such a long time. I haven't even seen them really, but in my life. But yeah, that's how it works. If we try to type something like this is a test, you can hear the sound. can see that the dots are moving. Now to see that where you are currently at when you're actually typing, there's this little marker that there's 2 red dots. In between the dots is where your cursor is currently at. So it displays it like that. You actually have to press enter in order to show more keys. I'll just press enter and see when the letters show up. There we go. This is a test. And you can type OS reviews. So there, you heard that beep beep. What the beep beep means that it's recognizing that you spelled something wrong. Of course, since our logo, our emblem for our review company is of course called OS Reviews, and it shows up reviews is spelled wrong because a Z at the end of review is obviously not grammatically correct, so it's going to show that up, and it displays that quite well. It's really accurate, it's really fast, it prompts you nicely. The beeping should be really is picked up by me, and it's just pretty cool to type. Now, you only have one font, really, to type on, as you might guess. You can also turn off the caps lock, just lowercase, but right now we're just uppercase, and let's just see return key until this shows up, and until we just keep on pressing this until we want to take our button off, our page off. It's kind of like a printer. It's mechanical, and it's just, boop, and we're finished. And we can look at our paper, and now on a piece of notebook paper, we printed some stuff. It says, this is a test, or a little bit out of ink, but this OS reviews. And in order to adjust the ink and refill the ink, it's really just down here. This is the ink cartridge, and it also doubles as this plastic piece to tell you where your cursor is at, to backspace and stuff. So it still works fairly well. It's actually pretty nice to actually type on something that has an audible click. It reminds me a little bit of mechanical keyboards and stuff, and it reminds me of the past. And we've certainly gone a long way in terms of printing and typing, because now we can fully edit stuff in Microsoft Word before we actually type the stuff out. But of course, getting something mechanical and user operated like this gives you a lot of more hacking stuff, like typing stuff on notebook papers and doing some stuff that is cool because it's retro and it's interesting. You can check out our full retro review on Panasonic typewriter T34 series on our website at osandvtxreviews.com. But that's it. Thank you for watching.